Welcome back to Saturday Social, where we are joined by Nieve, Robbie and Luke, and these two are still debating in the ad break, by the way. They're not going to agree on anything. So Nieve now is in the hot seat, wanting to tap into her great football insight by looking ahead to the summer transfer window. What's the plan, Harriet?
Yes, we've tasked Nieve with going through every single position in the starting 11 and picking a dream summer transfer. So to be really clear, this isn't the one that Nieve thinks is definitely going to happen or the most realistic, but the one that you'd love to see. So should we get straight into it? Who have you gone for with goalkeeper? A Prem to Prem move here.
Yeah, I think this is more with James Trafford. It's more I just want to see him getting consistent minutes as a starting goalkeeper so we can just see how good he really is. And I thought Aston Villa would be a good match for that.
Yeah, let's bring Luke in on that. He had a great week, didn't he, at Wembley, playing for England, and then he got winning the Carabao Cup as well. Do you feel like he is someone that is going to leave to get more regular games?
I think he's a top keeper. I think it'd be a disgrace for him to not want to leave, to be honest. He knows his ability. I think ultimately we can't give him at the moment the minutes he wants. I'd be interested to see if City offer him out on like a loan maybe. I'm not sure whether that would be an option, but ultimately he needs to be playing every week next season.
Poor guy.
I don't think that's unfair.
He's handled it all well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Poor guy. You know, look how he was treated.
Look at this. He's still trying to get
to elaborate and he left it there.
Leave with a lot of clubs that Nieve's got. James Trafford to Aston Villa. OK, right back.
Yes.
Who are you gone with?
Marco Palestra, who I was desperate to see more of him in an Italy shirt, especially against Bosnia. And I'd love to see him more and more. I've gone with Napoli because I would just love Napoli to sign him. I just think he's absolutely wonderful. He's a little bit different to your usual sort of full-back, wing-back in the sense of we're starting to see more invert, aren't we? Whereas he really does maintain the width, and he can carry the ball so well. Like we're talking with Cagliari, they'll go through him almost every time, and he'll carry it 40 yards plus, and he'll have 2-3 players on him, and he'll wriggle his way through. And yeah, I think he's just such an asset. He's got such athleticism and height and strength. He looks really comfortable on the ball. I think he's one for the future.
Only 21 years old as well, so bright future ahead. Right, pop him up.
Nice shout, like that, Nieve. Let's go to centre-backs now, and I think you're going to talk about a Spurs outgoing.
Yes.
By the looks of it.
Magnets are there.
There you go.
So the centre-backs, I've got Christian Romero, and I feel like it's quite obvious. Everyone's discussing the concept of Romero going to Atletico and being under Simeone, and I just
you can see it's a fit. You can see.
Basically, I agree.
Do you think that happens regardless of whether Tottenham stay in the Premier League or not?
Perhaps, yeah, because a player like that will want more, I think, than just Premier League football.
OK, next one you've gone for a defender.
Right in the face, she said that to me as a Spurs fan. Yeah, thanks, Nieve.
A defender moving to Liverpool.
This is an interesting one, this.
Yeah, James Hill, and I think for this it's more of a, could you be the team to look at him? I think he's 25. Could you be the team to look at him before he gets to a point where everyone's looking at him and sort of get in ahead and maybe get a better deal? Because the more I watch him throughout the season, the more improvement I see.
Impressive last week against us.
He was so good. What I especially loved against you, I think all season, Senesi's sort of covered and he's gone and been with the striker. He did that with Gyökeres. He's very good 1v1 with the striker. But what I was most impressed with is, as he's improved the season, you'll have noticed it, was in those corner situations as well, keeping an eye on Gabriel. Because there's even a moment when Ryan was looking after Gabriel and Gabriel pulled away quite easily, but didn't really pull away from James Hill. So he's got constant improvement, and he turns pretty quickly. He's an agile defender. So I think there's something there where you could.
Yeah, he's had a good season. Robbie, do you think that's an area that you can see Liverpool doing business? Obviously, a lot's been made of Liverpool's transfer in the summer and the signings that have. How they've performed. Do you think a centre-back is a position they will look at in the summer?
I think
do you think they're covered?
No, and we don't know what's going to happen with Konate.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me, is whether he signs a new contract.
And I really think they missed the trick when they didn't get Mark Gay.
Big time.
Because I think he would have been perfect for them. But James Hill, he impressed me last week. It's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout at all.
16 Premier League starts this season, only 6 last season, so you can see his progression. So he goes into the other centre-back spot.
Signed a contract recently, didn't he? 4-year contract, I think, back in September 2025. So it'd be interesting to see the how much that would be. But so, yeah, good shout. Let's go to left-back.
I wasn't really sure with left-back for looking for someone. And even Daniel Svensson's perhaps not the polished product, but there's just elements of his sort of his build and his speed and maintaining the width pretty well, but being comfortable on both feet. I think there's a real talented player in there, and I'd be interested to see if someone can take him further as a player.
Why Man United for you?
I think he'd suit when United look to make the pitch really big at Old Trafford. I think he'd suit bursting forward into space, which is something that they like to do with their wide players. So, yeah, I think he would suit their style.
OK, so that's the back line. Then a variety of players in different leagues as well. It's nice. Just move on to the midfield area. Who's the perfect midfield summer transfer for you? Tonali, interesting.
Yeah, first one I've gone for is Tonali to Barcelona.
Barcelona,
yeah, I think he would really balance out their midfield. It was actually against Barcelona. Arsenal, yeah. I think he just balanced them out. Watching the game when Newcastle played Barcelona, it was even moments where you're attacking and everyone's focused on the attack, and he was that more cautious player who was aware of what could happen if you lose the ball here and covering that ground and tracking Fermin Lopez, for example. And I think Barcelona are a team that could do with a player like that, who is just fully alert to being susceptible to be broken out on, basically.
He's a player that's been heavily linked with a few clubs. I mean, Robbie's mentioned Arsenal there. In terms of from Newcastle's angle, because there'll be Newcastle fans watching this, are you slightly concerned for them this summer? Bearing in mind, we've seen Bruno been linked.
Yeah.
We've seen some very sort of credible journalists linking Anthony Gordon to potentially Bayern Munich. Tonali was linked with Arsenal. Do you feel like they are in danger of losing a big name this summer?
I mean, I know Newcastle well because we played him 5 times this season, but I think it could be Eddie Howe maybe. I don't know whether he could leave.
Do you?
I think he could leave, yeah. And I think maybe that's why we're seeing so many players look on the way out. They've not had a great season. I know they had a decent-ish run in the Champions League, but it wasn't a pretty exit for them. And yeah, I think it could be Eddie Howe's time, to be honest.
Wow. And in terms of Tonali, I know from speaking to you, he's a player that you like.
I really rate him, and I was getting excited when we were linked to him in January. And I think he's one player that would get into any of the top teams in the Premier League. He's quality.
Yeah, top player.
OK, who have we got for next in midfield?
So a potential replacement if Newcastle were
You're doing the work for them.
Keeping the Newcastle fans happy. I like it.
Well, yeah, I think maybe doesn't cover as much of all of the ground as Tonali, but certainly his side of midfield, he's box to box covering that ground. I was actually at Valencia and spotted him, and that's why I'd sort of picked it up, Javi Guerra, and I just liked the fact that he's fast, he's athletic, he can do that off the ball, but on the ball, he's got real nice technique. You know, you can just see a player has got technique. He doesn't necessarily need to use that flair and use it for no reason. Like, if there's a quick pass forward to be made, he'll make it. But then, you know, he might shield the ball to keep the ball, but if he needs to do a pirouette, he can do a pirouette because he's got that blend of technique but doesn't overuse it. In the game I watched with Valencia, it seemed like Carlos Corberán wanted them to go wide first before crossing the ball, but you could see he had his eye up and wanted to make those passes in the inside channels, and I think he's more than capable of doing that. So yeah, I'd like to see him in a team where we can see a little bit more from him.
Great insight, love that.
Yeah, really good insight. You've got an Arsenal move next in your final midfield spot.
Look at Robbie's face. You said Arsenal, by the way.
I'm not bringing someone to your team.
Oh, okay.
Bringing someone in.
Nico Paz. Nico Paz.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, perhaps I'm sort of forcing the move just to try and get him into the Premier League because I'm just desperate to have him in the Premier League because he's incredible.
Real Madrid do have that buyback clause, though, don't they? Do you feel like he's destined to go back to Real Madrid soon, or will he look at the competition for places in that and think maybe there's a move before going back to Real Madrid? Where do you sort of assess his situation?
Yeah, it's so interesting because you see it in football. You know, he's good enough for Real Madrid, but they've also got lots of talented players. So, you know, he might also be thinking about himself as well and where he's going to develop the most.
Can I ask, when it comes to Arsenal, how he would compete and balance with Eze? Because would they be competing for the same position?
Exactly that. I think that's the thing that perhaps, I think because he's slightly different to Eze, and when I've seen Eze play a little bit further up or on the left, I don't think you get the most out of him. So you would want Eze there. But I think what Nico Paz offers is a slightly different way of getting at the block that I think actually Arsenal sort of maybe do the hard work and entice a team in, but then sometimes I think you could actually be even better at then actually exploiting that. And maybe a player like Nico Paz, he is so quick at turning, getting his head up and making that move. So it might not be quite as polished as Eze. Maybe not every pass is as perfect, but he might do it a little bit more often and take that gamble that you might otherwise need in what can sometimes feel a bit more rigid with Arsenal sometimes. And also he can drive with the ball. It offers something a bit different in the way that he could get your team up the pitch.
Robbie?
Like the sound of that, Robbie? Yeah.
Well, I'd say a player like him, possibly, we don't know what's going to happen with Martin Odegaard this season. He's kind of, you know, has been the main guy with Eze. So, yeah, listen, it's Argentinian.
You might finally win a league with him. Or not.
Second
Can't
top
help
scorer, by the way. in
Second.
Serie A.
He'll
Second
suit
top-
well.
Sorry?
You said second, didn't you?
Oh, he's gone. Wow, he's gone there.
Go on.
Second top scorer in Serie A, to which Luke said he'll suit them well.
OK, we're going
Very
for a
confident,
move
this man.
away
I
from
know.
Liverpool on the right wing. Who have you gone for?
Yeah, I've gone with Chiesa, thank you. And I just think I'm not sure if it's going to continue to work out with him with Liverpool. And I just like the idea of him going back to Italy. I think he'd find a little bit more love for playing the game. I think they'd really appreciate him. I think he'd balance Pulisic really well out at Milan. I think it'd be a good match for him.
Yeah, it seems very suited, Serie A, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Only 5 starts in all competitions this season for Liverpool.
Crazy.
It feels like Arne Slot, when he's looking at his bench and looking for attackers to bring on and change a game, he's just not really relying on him anymore, is he?
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be good for the Italian game as well to get an Italian talent back in the league and enjoying their football.
Remember when he was at Juventus, before he got injured at Juventus, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, the Euros against England, didn't he? That whole tournament. where
He
it was
actually scored
crazy.
Liverpool's last cup final goal as well, I believe.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
There we go. Next up,
Okay, striker.
striker.
Yes, Junior Krupi, another player that you'll have
To
noticed
Chelsea,
is pretty
interesting.
That'd be a great signing.
He scored against us home and away.
He's having an unbelievable. Do you know he's the first teenager to score 10 goals in his maiden Premier League season since Robbie Keane for Coventry back in the 99-2000 season.
It's your favourite
26
stat.
years ago.
You love that
I
one.
just think
It's
he's
a
had an
great
amazing
stat.
He's
season.
an unbelievable player. I'm
Real
telling you.
talent. Why Chelsea, though? Because obviously this has been a big talking point, this particular position. So why do you think Chelsea is the perfect fit for him? Bear in mind there'll be a lot of clubs probably linked with him.
Yeah, I thought about Chelsea just because of... I just think he'd link up really nicely with the likes of... So looking at him with Evan Nilsson, I think he'd link up nicely with João Pedro, with Palmer. I think with, obviously, Pedro Neto as well in the team. Estevao. I just think the style of player that they've got, they're quite... There'd be a nice fluidity there, I think. And I think him especially, what I like about him is he's got all of the assets of a traditional striker in that his finishing is unbelievable. If you just look at the goals he scores, but he's not that traditional, really. He can operate more of a second striker who's close to the striker. I mean, even that goal against Arsenal as well, that was a deeper run, but he bursts into the box unmarked and finishes, that chance as well.
What's his best position?
I think that's what's good about him is that I don't think you could necessarily pinpoint it, a position, but just I almost think his best asset is that he'll complement anybody that he's there on the pitch with. But then I think his real best asset is his finishing and it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Only 19 years old as well. How high do you think his ceiling is?
I think it's really high because if you look at like him physically as well and his build, it just seems perfect. You look at his technique, everything about him. There's nothing to suggest
I agree. I
that
think
he
he's a top
won't
player.
Yes.
Last position then, left winger.
Yeah,
Oh, Yildiz.
Kenan Yildiz.
To Liverpool.
Yeah, I've gone with Liverpool, but also could be another candidate for an Arsenal transfer.
We're desperate for a left.
What kind of price tag do you reckon's on his head?
Large, yeah.
100 million they'd want through because he's still young as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But Liverpool needs some regeneration in that
He's
forward
only
line.
20, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be cheap.
But I think, Liverpool and Arsenal are two teams especially who, if you're going to go out and get another attacker now, make that attacking signing, I think it has to be this level. There's, you can get players that you want to take to that level or you like, but every now and then you have to get a player that's already there in the top bracket, and he would instantly elevate the team, like instantly. So I think it's a transfer where you've got to say you spend that money on other areas, sometimes you've got to do it.
OK, stick it up. Like that. Lovely insight, as always. There is confirmation of Nieve picking the perfect summer transfer in every position, what she thinks would be the perfect player for each club. Let us know what you think of those selections at home. Some great shouts there.